Well, guys, at long last, we have football. Big 12 football actually starts tomorrow, as we record this podcast on a Wednesday. But Baylor will open up Saturday at home against the University of Albany, Albany, as they like to be referred to. Bears, of course, are the Big 12 preseason favorites for the first time in program history. So for that to sort of play out and actually happen, for Baylor to live up to that prediction, what needs to happen? What would you say, Jerry?
Oh, I think there's a couple of key things. I mean, obviously, health is a big part. Blake Shapen only has 2 starts under his belt. Nobody behind him has any. Well, I say that Luke Anthony, the third team guy, has gotten about 32 starts, but not at this level. So Louisiana Tech transfer. But I think Blake needs to stay healthy, and then I think somebody needs to emerge at running back and receiver. I feel really good about the defense, but I think the offense, for it to really click the way Jeff Grimes would like it to, I think you need to see, a couple of those receivers really step up. And then whether it's Tay McWilliams, Quaylon Jones, whoever it is, Richard Reese, I really like him. One of those guys needs to kind of come out of the pack and be the guy.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I agree with Jerry. Tay McWilliams is a big key. We talked to him yesterday. He sounds really confident. He says he's kind of a combination of both Abram Smith and Treston Ebner, which would be a pretty good combination for one guy. So he sounds really confident, that he can do the job. I think Dave will probably use several running backs tomorrow or Saturday. We'll see if Craig Squirrel Williams, if Dave sounded like he's healthy at Monday's press conference. He's obviously has a history of knee injuries, so we'll see if he can stay healthy. We'll see if Josh Fleeks plays a role there as kind of that explosive guy. Jerry mentioned Richard Reese. He's a freshman, and he might play some. Who knows? But yeah, and those receivers, I'm really interested to see Hal Presley, the transfer from Auburn. He sounds like he could be a big factor. He's got some speed, he's got some size. But Baylor's receiving room, I wouldn't be that worried about it. They always come up with good receivers. I think they've got a good group this year that just haven't played a whole lot. And Monterey showed what he could, the speed he had in the Sugar Bowl anyway, on that 48-yard touchdown run. So I think it's going to be pretty fun. Although, I don't know how much you can really tell going against an FCS opponent, but it'll be fun to see what they look like.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Richard Reese. I had actually kind of forgotten about him. That's why you guys are out there every day. But dude was a stud in high school. Now, obviously, it's a big jump going from playing for Belleville High School on Friday nights to playing Big 12 football games on Saturdays. But yeah, I mean, I remember he played some of our local teams around here a few times in high school, Cameron Yo and stuff, and had some huge games, just like 6-7 touchdowns, ridiculous. I feel like, every even year, it's always a little tougher just because the schedule breaks, against Baylor in some of the tougher games. They go to OU, to Texas. They got to go to West Virginia. Obviously, a non-conference game at BYU this year, which doesn't really affect the Big 12 race, but it's going to be tough. At the same time, I remember this summer when I was doing the Big 12 preseason media poll, looking at just what everybody else had coming back and comparing it to kind of what Baylor had coming back. I ended up picking Baylor, and I didn't really go into that thinking I would, but I mean, they do have a nice collection of guys back, even losing Petrie and Bernard and JT Woods and, you know, some of the other studs that they lost. So I think it's going to be a fun year, and maybe, you know, maybe it's not, you know, 11, 12 wins, but maybe that doesn't, maybe it doesn't have to be. I don't know.